So we are continuing our Cornell notes that we did last time over cell cycle. We are now adding to them information over photosynthesis and respiration. This is the EQ you're going to add to that, whatever page you're on of those notes. You're just going to add this as an additional EQ. And then your objective for this lesson is 9B. That's the teak that this information comes from.
Wait, hold on. Hold your horses, Lamb. Hold your horses.
Remember our conversation earlier.
What was the conversation?
Do we write the bottom one?
Just on the objective portion, yeah. It says objective, topic, or objective.
Oh.
Give me a fist of 5 on this. How are we doing? Good? Got a few writing. That's fun.
This is my song right here. I got both of them.
All right, I'm about to move on. Here we go. First heading, left-hand column, I want you to write the word photosynthesis. Left-hand column of your Cornell notes, the topic is photosynthesis. Topic and heading in the left-hand column is photosynthesis. On the note side, I want you to write energy and life. An autotroph can make their own food. This is things like plants. And a heterotroph obtains energy from food they consume. They got to eat. That's like us. We are not plants. We cannot photosynthesize with the help of the sun. If we need energy, we have to consume or eat our energy. Autotrophs make their own food. They make that food from the sun. Heterotrophs must obtain energy from food they consume. We must eat.
Can you write my notes for me? Hey, she said she can do that one.
So you guess yourself. All right, about to move on. If you're still writing here, wrap it up. So you don't have to write this heading. We're still under that same heading. I want you to put energy flows from wrong writing utensil. Energy flows from autotrophs to heterotrophs. So what you're looking at on the screen is a food chain. We start with the sun. From the sun, we go to a producer that is eaten by a primary consumer. that is then eaten by a secondary consumer. This one here is my autotroph. Everything here are heterotrophs. So energy flows from autotrophs to heterotrophs. Where does the energy come from for autotrophs? Where do they get it? They get it from the sun, yes. Energy flows from autotrophs to heterotrophs. Fist to 5, that's not a lot to write. Are we good? I didn't get an answer, so I'm going to assume we're good. All right, new heading, new ink, left-hand column. So change it. New heading, new ink, left-hand column. ATP equals energy. If y'all think back to the first 6 weeks, we had several callbacks that we practiced. When I said ATP, what were you supposed to say? That's OPP. ATP, you said energy. When I said DNA, what do you remember what you said? Genetic information. So let's try it. ATP, stronger. ATP, ATP. And then DNA. Yes, DNA and DNA. Genetic information. Good. All right, so left-hand column says ATP equals energy. Right-hand column, ultimate source of all energy is the sun. The ultimate source of all energy is the sun. I'll grab cnotes and jump into where we are, okay? Energy stored in cells in the form of ATP. The ultimate source of all energy is the sun. Energy is stored in cells in the form of ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. The prefix tri means 3. So how many phosphates do you think that has? 3 phosphates. ATP has 3 phosphates. Energy lies in the bonds between the phosphates. Yes, ma'am. You're adding to the set you already have in the front pocket of your journal. ATP equals energy, left-hand column, right-hand column. The sun is the ultimate source of energy. Energy is stored in cells in the form of ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. ATP has 3 phosphates. And energy lies in the bonds between those phosphates.
You got to write that with your circle?
Yes, sir. Just like DNA has a name, it's deoxyribonucleic acid. You need to know the name for ATP so that if it's written out in one of our test questions, you'll recognize what they're talking about.
What about it now?
Okay, of course, okay?
Fist to 5 on this. Non-verbally show me I'm done, or I need 1 minute, 2 minutes. I have several people writing, so we'll wait. Guys, if you have not noticed, Miss Neighbors is coming around. She's keeping a written track record of who seems to be following along and understanding. And then if you're doing a good job on those Cornell notes, she's actually giving you a stamp for your participation. So be sure that you're on task because she is keeping a record of that. All right, fist to 5 now. In your Cornell notes, we're still under that same heading. I want you to say, energy stored in cells, released gradually in enzyme-assisted reactions. I think it's our last slide. Energy stored in cells, released gradually in enzyme-assisted reactions. It says energy stored in the cell. Energy stored in the cell is released gradually in enzyme-assisted reactions. Energy is stored in ATP. Released energy enough to process cells' activities. When you are done with this, you are going to fold these notes in half and put them back in the front pocket of your journal so that we have them in class tomorrow to continue. So get this slide down and then put them back in your journal for tomorrow. When you're done, several things need to happen. Journals need to get put up, pens need to get put up, and glue needs to get put up. Probably the best way to do this is to divide and conquer. Have one person put up your tables pens, have one person put up your tables glue, and have another person put up your tables journals. Picking up our notes from yesterday, ADP looks like ATP, but it has 2 phosphates. Yes, sir, it is. ADP adds a phosphate and becomes ATP. When I say ATP, what's the key word you're supposed to remember?
Energy.
Yep, energy. So I say ATP, you say, one more time, ATP, ATP. I'm going to throw you for a loop. What about DNA? Very good. Genetic information. Give me a fist of 5 on this. It wasn't a ton to write.
I didn't even know that.
We good? All right. No, we're not good. Okay, you got to show me. If I don't see you, got to like wave it. Get my attention.
Okay, Miss.
You good?
Yes, come on. No, we're not. Girl's not even too much to write. Well, come on.
Let me know when you're ready, Kimora. Good. We just started. Listen, I'm about to move to the next slide. If y'all need, you can get this from the people at your table. Hey, are the bunnies okay? I forgot about them. They good? Porky? It's making noises. Let me out of this box. All right, back on me. Refocus. Now, I need you to know that energy is released when the bonds of the 2nd and 3rd phosphates are broken. So if I were to ask you, if we were looking at this picture and I said, where is energy stored here? What would you say? If it's released when the bonds are broken, gentlemen. Gentlemen number, I'm going to start calling you dollar bills.
That ain't his money, man.
Right. If I just said energy is released when bonds are broken, where is the energy stored? Where's it stored? This ain't got no nucleus. So this is a chemical compound, not a cell, okay? This is what it looks like. Where is energy stored if it's released when the bonds are broken? Guys, it's in the bonds. Don't you remember energy transformations from like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade?
I didn't go to 6th grade.
Okay. So this is holding chemical potential energy.
Oh, that.
When we break these bonds, we are releasing that potential energy. Now it's free and it can be used by the organism. Okay? So this is stored up chemical potential energy until we break that bond. When we break that bond, bam, we've got energy that a living organism can use. Fist of 5 on having this down. You can even, guys, like if write that out. Energy stored. Oh, if I write it, you write it. In bonds. In your notes. So you can say between phosphates, whatever makes sense to you, Kimora. All right, here we go. About to move on. New heading, new ink, finally. Left-hand column, new heading, change your ink. You're going to write the word photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means put together with light. Let me remind you of our conversation we had yesterday, looking at how your class average went from an 80 to failing on the last assessment. And I asked you why you thought that could have been, and what did you say?
Ma'am, guess what, ma'am?
What, sir?
People, when you showed them that, and people asked me what period I was in.
Oh, Lord.
They told me my class was slow.
Y'all are not slow at all. Y'all had the second highest score our first test. You're not slow.
I told them I passed. That got nothing to do with me.
So, what did we agree was probably the reason that score went down?
Talking.
Yep, and what's happening right now?
Everybody at the table bad though. Except her.
Everybody passes up.
She did good to me. Yeah.
I'm not talking about just your table. I'm talking about the class in general. Let's dial the talking back just a little bit.
It's really interesting right there.
Okay? Still waiting.
Shut up, purple thing.
All right. In our notes, photosynthesis is where light energy from the sun converted to chemical energy we need to survive. Light energy, new topic, from the sun converted to chemical energy we need to survive. Light energy from the sun converted to chemical energy we need to survive. This is usually done by autotrophs that are photosynthetic. Those are our plants, right? Where are they getting that light energy? Where's it coming from? The sun. So the sun is driving this flow of energy through all living things. It all starts with the energy that comes from our sun. And then it goes to producers, and then primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, sometimes scavengers, and then finally decomposers. What would happen if there was a huge catastrophe and sunlight could no longer reach the earth?
No, it'll be dark all the time.
Be dark. If it's dark, can plants photosynthesize? If plants can't photosynthesize, is there food for producers? If there's no food for producers, is there anything for primary consumers to eat? So then what happens to us? Yep. Yes, ma'am. Give me a fist of 5 on having this set of information down. Fist of 5 on this set of information.
That's your computer.
Let me try.
Waiting. Too much chatter.
If y'all ain't done, shut up.
All right, let me be clear. And when I say this, I'm not just referencing this class period. Y'all are not the only ones we've noticed to be struggling with this. But we have formed table groups with very close friends or new friends. And we have really started ignoring instruction and just talking straight through it. We're not going to do it tomorrow. But that Monday when we get back from break, we will all have a new seating chart. Because I have got to be certain that you are not distracted so that you can perform your best in this class. Ultimately, I want what's best for you. And since this is a state-tested class, that is academic performance. All right, I'm moving on. On me now. Waiting.
Hey, y'all, shut up.
Still waiting. Next thing I want you to write is this chemical equation. So when you were in 8th grade, if you had a solid teacher, they talked to you about chemical equations. You would have learned last year that everything on the left is the reactant. You would have learned that everything on the right is the product. And you would have learned that that arrow has a name, and his name is yield. The way I taught this to my 8th graders is we learned RIP, R-Y-P, reactant, yield, product. That's the order it goes in from left to right. My reactants are like my ingredients. They're what I start with. My products have to be something new. So write this chemical equation. Who remembers from last year?
Be quiet, tired.
Tell my tire.
That don't tell that nigga get screwed over.
Are we done? Still waiting. You're just writing the equation right now. Who can remember?
Oh, can remember what? Oh, there's one chemical.
Miss Neighbors, come on.
Ma'am, do we leave?
Ma'am.
Miss Stollepark.
Somebody say go up. He got mad.
Okay, hey, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Huh? Huh? Boys, oh yes. Sorry. Y'all can go. At 2:45, yes, y'all go. If y'all have to leave. Make sure you tell Miss Stoley where you're going. Hey boys, JJ, CJ. JJ, CJ. Tell Miss Stoley when you head out, like what you're doing, so she's in the loop. Okay, this is what we need to know from this reaction. Hey, I'll let you know. Yes. Okay. Hey, eyes on me. Eyes on me. Okay, Miss Stoley is out, but that does not mean we're not done learning. Okay. So we learned reactants yield products. Our reactants are, listen, eyes on me.
Can you wait till they get out?
Yes, I can. Bye, boys. Have a good game.
You too. I mean.
Thank you.
Me too. Have you seen those TikToks? Okay, anyway. Our reactants are carbon dioxide and water. Yeah, so I want you to know your reactants are carbon dioxide. Yes, you write the letters.
Chemical and oxygen, is it one chemical and two oxygen?
Wait, for which one?
For the that how that goes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you would write it like this. You're writing it just like that.
But when you're to, like, not solve it, but put it in a different way.
Put it in a different way.
Do you do what I'm saying?
Like these two come together? Like right here, is this what you're talking about? Yeah, so these two, so this is carbon dioxide and water. They'll come together and they'll create glucose and oxygen. Yeah. So our products are going to be glucose and oxygen.
Excuse me, sub-varsity football players to be released per the earlier email. At this time, go get them.
Okay, you're writing this down. Listen, you're writing this down. Shh, you're writing this down.
I got it.
Girls,
Sorry.
are you finished with this one?
No.
Okay.
Hey, do we do sugar too? Sugar and starch, not glucose?
Yeah, so glucose is sugar. So just as long as you know that glucose is a type of sugar, then you're good. So what the state says you have to know are what the reactants and products are. Here's the reason. We're going to be talking about another cycle called respiration. So I want everybody to look at me. I want you to take a deep breath into your nose. Out through your mouth. Nobody did it.
I did.
Okay, thank you. What do you breathe out?
Oxygen.
No, you breathe in oxygen. What do you breathe out?
Air.
Carbon dioxide. Guys, look at this equation. What do plants breathe in?
Oxygen. No, carbon dioxide.
Carbon. And then what do plants breathe out? Oxygen. So think about it. If something happened where plants could no longer photosynthesize, yeah, there wouldn't be food, but what else wouldn't there be? If they weren't taking our carbon dioxide and there'd be no air. So the plants aren't just giving us food, they're giving us the air that we breathe. So if that cycle is broken, we are screwed. Are you following me? So that's why we got to know these products and reactants, because what you're going to see when we get to respiration, it's this exact equation backwards. So the two cycles depend upon one another. Plants would not be alive without organisms making CO2. Organisms would not be alive without plants making oxygen. Yes.
Where does oxygen go? Where does oxygen go?
Oxygen right here is what we breathe in.
So it goes to products.
Yes, it's products. And carbon dioxide right here is what we breathe out. So they need that to do their life, and then they make our oxygen. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
All right. Give me a fist of 5 on this. We've been on this slide for a long time.
For no reason.
We good? All right. All right, so we already kind of talked about this in the last slide, so I'm not going to have you write everything, but I do want you to put reactants. And then I want you to list carbon dioxide, water, and light. You did, but I want you make like a list this time, not just the equation. Reactants, carbon dioxide, water, and light. Reactants are carbon dioxide, water, and light. Just reactants, and you're writing those 3 words. So carbon dioxide is in that equation, that's CO2. Water is that H2O. That light is specifically sunlight. Shh. All right, fist of 5. How we doing? That wasn't a lot.
Good. Come on.
We good? Let's go. Let's get it done. We are almost done.
She lied. We got like 2 more slides.
I don't know what just happened.
Back up on my board.
All right.
Miss Stolly, what we doing with us today?
We'll see. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw. I want you to know that photosynthesis is in a chloroplast. Quiet, please. Photosynthesis is in a chloroplast.
Same heading or new heading?
Same. We're still under photosynthesis. And we're going to draw a chloroplast. Guys, it does not have to be very detailed. Look at my drawing. So I'm going to draw an oval. In that oval, I'm going to put what looks like stacks of pancakes, okay? All I want you to know is that each one of my pancakes would be what I call granum. And then the whole stack would be what I call a thylakoid. Thylakoid.
Why does it look like a pink?
Does that say granum?
Granum is an individual pancake.
I just like that.
The whole stack I call a thylakoid.
A thylakoid?
Hey girls, let's not talk about it right now. He and I have already talked about it. Y'all can work out details later, okay?
So I slide?
No.
We're close though. What did that say?
So the word here is granum. Granum. And then the whole stack of granum is what we call a thylakoid. This is inside of a chloroplast. Do animal cells have chloroplast? No. We don't. We can't photosynthesize, can we? So we don't have chloroplast. What do animal cells have instead of chloroplast? Anybody know? What's our powerhouse?
The mitochondria.
Yes, sir. It's the mitochondria. All right. Fist of 5 on doing your drawing. Are we good?
I'm done.
You done? All right. Let's finish notes and then you can. We've already drawn it. We don't have to draw it again. Okay? So I want you to know, again, we wrote the reactants. You need to put, we're still under photosynthesis. The products are glucose and oxygen. And solar energy is needed. Products are glucose and oxygen. Shh. Solar energy is needed. What are the products of photosynthesis?
We read that. Problems are?
Yeah, what are they? You tell me. And?
Oxygen.
All right. And what do we need for it to happen?
Oxygen.
What? Solar energy. Thank you.
Tell me why ain't nothing.
So the image you see on the screen is a pictorial representation of what the state calls a model of a chloroplast. So if you see this anywhere and you're asked what that is or what is happening there, that's a chloroplast and photosynthesis is happening. Solar energy is needed.
What's the last word?
Solar energy needed.
Is it time to go in?
No, we still have 15 minutes. All right, fist of 5. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, just look at this. I'm not going to make you write it down. This is a summary of everything we just talked about. On my left-hand side here, I'm just going to highlight. What do we call what's on the left? Reactants. what do we end up with? So let's look at our reactants. JJ, what's listed on the reactant side?
O2.
CO2. Yeah, what's the other thing?
H2O.
And
O2.
We write that?
yeah, okay? We're not writing, we're just talking. It goes into this organelle. What organelle is this? What do we call it? Chloroplast, yes. After those reactants go into that chloroplast, I end up with oxygen and something else. You see this question mark? Who knows what that something else is? What is my second product? Oxygen's there. It is energy. Energy in what form? What does the plant need? Yes, ma'am. So where this question mark is, guys, I have glucose. So this is a pictorial representation of the entire process of photosynthesis. My reactants are on the left. My products are on the right, and I'll end up with oxygen and glucose, which is a sugar. Call the behavior aid 6820 on the phone. Yeah, 6820. Call it and tell them. All right. So we are still under photosynthesis. We're now going to look at, you can just write steps.
What? Matthew? We're taking notes. Don't take notes.
Steps. We're still under photosynthesis. We're just now on the steps. The first step is light dependent. It splits water, produces oxygen, ATP, and NADPH. Steps. The first step is light dependent. Shh. Just meet them at the door and tell them who. It splits water, producing oxygen, ATP, and NADPH. No, we're still talking about photosynthesis. Now we're just looking at the steps in photosynthesis.
It's all notes.
There's more than one step. We'll probably do 2 more slides and I'll stop. Fist to 5, how are we? We good? All right. So, you don't have to draw this. I just want to show you. What we just talked about, step 1 is happening on the left-hand side. This is inside of a chloroplast, okay? You're not drawing, just wanting to show you. We are now on step 2. Step 2 is called the Calvin cycle. It does not require light. It uses carbon dioxide, ATP, NADPH to make glucose. So light dependent requires sunlight, correct? Waiting. Calvin cycle does not require sunlight. Guys. Guys. Hey. Yeah, we need to be respectful. You don't know what's going on. Don't be ugly. Calvin cycle does not require light, uses carbon dioxide, ATP, NADPH, and they make glucose. Did you see where he put it? Did you see where he put it?
Oh my God. Back forward.
Do what, babe? Okay, that's fine. Finish writing this one down. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Hey, we don't like to have to do that often. I don't do that often. Unless you are like completely ignoring what we're asking. All right, look at the screen. Here is what we just talked about. I'm waiting. Waiting. We were on light dependent. Then we went to Kelvin cycle. One requires light. The other does not. You don't have to draw this. We're going to skip this for now. We'll come back to it at a later time.